I'm getting angry. I mean, it's so good. Some key man agree about him.
Thanks for coming on. And
Well, yeah, I was quite surprised when you asked me, really.
yeah.
I've seen, like, people like John Allen and Hazel Findlay being interviewed.
Yeah.
And, I wouldn't exactly rank myself among people like that.
Oh well.
But
Well, for one, we're all they're just people, and everyone's.
Yeah, exactly. That's a good point. But I am flattered that you've asked me.
Oh, thank you.
Suppose.
But so the other thing, Lewis, is we sort of one of the things that Jamcrack's trying to do is sort of paint a picture of what climbing is, maybe particularly climbing in UK. Paint that picture.
Yeah.
So if you just it doesn't just look at it's not about the famous people at the top or the sort of celebrities. It's kind of climbing's never really about that. It's about the sort of different experiences, maybe the common experience between those people like Hazel Finlay and somebody doing a VDiff and whatever it means, because it's all.
It definitely used to be a sport for, like, the upper classes, but I think now it's just for anyone, really.
It does seem like that's true.
It doesn't matter what your class is.
No.
You can be a great climber.
Yeah. Is it a class thing, something that you've experienced in life? Is it a way of looking at the world, do you think?
I suppose so, because I grew up with just my mum, who works really hard, and never got any child maintenance or anything like that.
What's your mum's name?
Gwawr.
Say again?
Gwawr.
Gwawr.
Yeah, I come from a Welsh family.
Right,
I'm
okay,
Welsh
yeah,
myself,
yeah.
first language.
How's that spelled?
Gwawr.
Right.
Yeah. But I had a really good upbringing.
Right.
And I never felt poor or anything. I don't think I really was poor.
Right.
But I was quite lucky because I got into climbing. I bugged my mum to, like, get me lessons when I was like 13 or something.
How old are you now?
I'm 19 now.
Right.
And then I got into it, and for about a year and a half I was just going every week, like NICAS. And
that's indoor.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Indoor. Yeah.
And I wasn't, like, massively into it. I was having fun because I've always been climbing just various things.
Yeah.
But then I started getting really serious into it, and I think it's about the same time I started learning more about outdoor climbing and about my brother Will. And then randomly one day I was just at the wall talking to someone, and my instructor asked me, does your family climb? And I said, well, my dad, Jim, like, he used to climb a lot. And my brother Will was, like, a bit of a protege on the scene. And then a few minutes later, a woman comes up to me and says, sorry, did you just say that your brother was Will Perrin?
Yeah.
And it was Rachel Robbins climbing with Pete.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
Huh.
And that's how I met those guys.
Right.
And
Funny,
then,
I was in touch with Rachel because I'm going to interview Pete tomorrow, Wednesday, which is kind of really cool.
Yeah, that'll be good. Then, through them, I just started meeting loads of people, and they took me out on my first day.
So what was that? So you just were going to give a piece of information. Your brother Will committed suicide several years ago, maybe 12 years ago?
2004, so
2004, a long time ago. So was he someone you knew in your childhood?
No, I was young. Yeah.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
So, but you'd known of him?
Yeah, I know him. It's a really weird sensation, like...
I don't want to get in too deep just now, but it informs this part of the story you've just said about this connection.
Yeah, I know of him. I've been told a lot about him.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, for someone to meet someone who knew him as a climber at that point, was that one of the things that changed the direction slightly?
Yeah, he's been a very big influence on me, and getting to know him as a climber has been really good for me.
Right.
I think.
So, do you want to just go back to your childhood again? It sounds like you want to sort of expand out to hear more about this. You said it was a good childhood.
Yeah.
But your mum had to work really hard to make things work.
No, not really. She just does work hard, really
Right.
hard. And I grew up for the first 11 years of my life with my mum and my grandparents at my grandparents' house.
Right.
And so I never felt
Are
like...
they're Welsh? They're all...
Yeah, they're Welsh, yeah.
Don't want to use the
Yeah.
word proper Welsh, but I'm in here, I'm just down in Wales doing a book, and just sort of, you get absorbed in sort of the locality, because it's really, and I go for walks around the hillside and you come across old cottages, and just, there's a real depth here, isn't there? Like a real, you just think the people here have lived here for generations, and, you just feel it hasn't changed that much in some way. So there's a real, when I mean proper Welsh, I mean sort of soaked into this landscape type of thing.
Yeah, they're almost a part of the land,
right?
You know?
And is that a feeling that people have here? Do you think?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's easy to form connections with this place because you really want to. It's just such an amazing place, and I've been head over heels in love with Wales for years, and I can't think of somewhere else I'd rather live.
Right.
Really.
And it's obviously a tough place in many ways. It feels like there's a toughness here.
Yeah.
And the landscape and the people, which kind of creates a solidarity or a connection.
Yeah, but there's also a contrast to that. There's a beauty and a spirituality.
Yeah.
That sort of underlines a lot of things.
What sort of spirituality? How would you describe that, or how have you interacted with that?
Well, it's just... I mean, how could you be here and not think of it in spiritual terms? It's a magical place.
Mm. Yeah. And there, maybe I said that before, but sometimes you get those old paintings, Welsh paintings of witches, that old witch thing. Okay. Do you know what I mean? They wore these sort of black, there's some sort of witch thing.
Yeah, I think so.
And sometimes I'm in parts of Wales and I could picture witches living here.
Yeah. It's very old land. There's a lot of history.
Yeah. And as somebody who grew up here, whereabouts did you grow up exactly?
I grew up about a mile outside of Point Linus, which is a lighthouse on the northeastern tip of Anglesey.
Right. Is that the sort of abandoned one you can still go?
No, there's still people living there.
Right, okay.
Yeah, it's a beautiful place. It's very wild.
And the landscape is obviously a bit different from here, but...
It's different than here, but it's still beautiful in its own way.
Yeah. But it's got the same... You feel the same spirituality there as you do here?
Maybe. I think I've formed connections with Llanberis and Snowdonia in the later parts of my life. Well, I mean, my life so far, I know I'm still very young. Whereas the connections to Llanelian, where I grew up, were made when I was very young.
Yeah.
So.
Did you move from there to here at some point?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
What age?
12, I think. 12, 13.
Your mum moved over this way?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
So and part of it, I mean, as I say, the spirituality, I can see why, because it's sort of, you feel ancestry here, and and once you start thinking back, who knows how far? I mean, that's sort of that. You sort of, you meet somebody who's old, and then they say, "So no, I was there whenever something happened," which seems to you like sort of massively ancient history. So you realise the crossover of.
Well, that's an interesting point you bring up, actually, because my mum is very into tracing ancestry back, and she discovered that on my granddad's side, I think, we're related to some old Welsh princes.
Right.
So it's very, very Celtic lineage on my mum's side.
Right.
Yeah. And
so you might just look back and think, well, there's X generations before I was connected to this person I read about in a history book who almost, you sort of, people you read about in history are almost like, they're not real, are they? But then you get that connection to another dimension. The past is a dimension, isn't it? And so you think, well, what other...
That's an interesting way of thinking about it.
Dimensions do things go off on, yeah. Sorry.
It's all right. Yeah. Yeah. Back to the point I was making earlier about getting started. I probably wouldn't be able to get started climbing outdoors if it hadn't been for Rachel and Pete and Kath and even Ben Bransby, who I didn't actually know at the time.
Right.
They really helped me out. I think it's just because they learned of me and my interest in climbing, and they obviously miss Will very much, and they wanted to help out, I suppose.
Right.
So I'm really grateful for them.
Yeah,
If they're watching.
And you think that opportunity wouldn't have? Well, it might have done.
It might have.
That's what it was.
It would have probably come later, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I sort of get the sense Will's going to be a big part of all this story. Should we just talk about Will, who he was?
If you like.
He was again someone I hadn't met that much. I'd met a few times, and sort of maybe I wanted to know more about him too. He was a climber. He was a very, very gifted climber, bold climber. He was very much a part of the scene around here, the Lambera scene. Very well liked.
Yeah, very well liked. He was very popular.
He would have climbed. Who would he have climbed with a lot?
Climb up with Pete. Climbed it with Calf. Ben Bransby. Nodders. I don't know. I mean, it's hard to just list everyone that was in the scene, but he would have climbed with loads of people. You know, sorry if I leave anyone out. But
yeah, no.
Yes, there's just so many people to list. Yeah.
And he would, I guess people around here do new routes, and that's kind of a bit of a thing. I think I did a route called Three Dandy Shufflers down in the Lynn Peninsula he put up one time. I think he was one of the people who put it up. But yeah, that sort of exploratory scene that Wales seems to give a lot of.
Yeah.
There seems to be a lot of development still to this day happening around here.
Yeah, there is.
Like other parts of the country where
still
there's tons to do,
activists.
and really motivated, talented, and varied group of people here.
Yeah, definitely. And I do believe that he would be one of those people if he was around today.
Yeah. And but he's not around today. He took his own life in 2000. Sorry, did you say 2004? Did you know of that at the time, or
no?
You were too. You were born. Let me just think.
I didn't live with him when I was young, but no, I wouldn't have known.
Do you know what do you know about the circumstances of that?
Well, I know that he was bipolar, and that he never really spoke about what he was going through, and he never asked for help.
Yeah.
And it was a big surprise to everyone when it happened, and some people were even quite angry with him, irrationally. But yeah, tragedy.
You can understand how
it
is.
Because if he'd spoken out, who knows what would
happen. Yeah. I'm not going to talk shit here, but you said that they respect people's choices in some ways, don't you?
Yeah, I don't.
I understand the anger.
Blame him for it.
Yeah. So you got to know him then through stories almost.
Yeah.
From what? Who related your stories? Your mum?
Who told me stories? Mum would tell me some stories. I've heard most stories just through the, being in the climbing scene, and I'm still getting to know him more today.
Right.
And I had a bit of a hard time a couple of years ago because I was getting to know more and more about him, and people were starting, because I was getting better, and my hair was growing out, and like my face was changing, and I was getting to look more like him. And people would compare me to him quite often, which wasn't a bad thing necessarily. It was just that it was hard to be told you're so similar to someone that you're never ever going to meet.
Right. Yeah. And was that a sadness?
Yeah, it was quite deep sadness, but it changed, and now it's a legacy that I'm very proud to continue in my own way.
Right. And so thanks to Pete and Rachel and those guys, you got into outdoor climbing, and was that a real turning point in your own life?
Yeah, massive.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, how did it first reveal itself? What was the first experiences? So you'd gone indoors and learned the basics of moving around and maybe tying a knot, I don't know. And then
shit like that.
Do you remember first going outside?
Yeah. I remember my first day. We went to the quarries, and we went and abseiled into California. We went up to his little memorial spot. Have you been there?
No.
He's got a Do you know where the Groove Tambourine Man is?
No.
Well, anyway, he's got a little level there with a tree and a bench. It's really peaceful. It's so serene there. I always go there on the day of his death or on his birthday. And yeah, so we went there, and then we went to Serengeti, and we did, like the classic Seamstress, Seems the Same, and then Slow Clip Special.
In that area?
I
don't know the quarries that well.
It's in the quarries.
Yeah.
It's not in California.
Huh.
Yeah.
Who was that with?
I was with Pete and Rachel.
All right. Is that your first day out?
My first day out.
Oh, no way. Huh, brilliant.
Yeah, it was good.
Oh, so suddenly this insane activity is just presented to you?
Yeah. I still remember taking my first step onto the slab, and it was
literally
so
your first step?
Yeah, literally first step.
Really?
And it was just amazing.
Huh. And
Totally
did you
different.
feel something?
Yeah, I mean, it's just better than climbing indoors, isn't it?
Yeah.
In my opinion, anyway.
Yeah. Huh, wow. And then from then it was like a door open, was it?
Yeah, I just wanted to be climbing all the time, whenever I could.
Right.
Really.
Huh. And did you manage that? You're living locally here by then?
Yeah, I managed it quite well. I got a bouldering pad gifted to me. I got my first shoes, started climbing, really.
And the climbing around here is really adventurous, isn't it? It's real. I don't know what sort of style of climbing. I'm guessing you're into more adventurous stuff. I don't know why I say that, but more than sport climbing.
I've been quite into trad. I've been really into bouldering recently.
Right.
But I think that's just because of lockdown, really.
Right.
But yeah, I have been really into trad, and I think it's where the heart of it lies, maybe.
Right. Again, trad's got that kind of spirituality in it, because it goes all the way. If you're into things like First Ascent, you sort of you know where this thing's come from, and like all these, like if you think of it, cool trad routes. I had this idea one time where if you could see emotion, and the more emotional something was, the brighter it glowed, and you'd have spots in the earth where there was very strong emotions, and a lot of if you imagine the glow around the crux of a big trad route, there'd be a real glow around it of emotion that had been felt at this one spot, and so that all goes. I'm not saying you can feel it, but you sort of know it's all there when you're climbing like a.
I think people talk about it in these spiritual terms just because it's just a vaster cocktail of emotions that comes with it.
Right.
You're scared. You're don't always know where you're going. There's just a lot of uncertainty in it.
Right.
And that brings out a lot in people.
All right. Yeah. And sort of questions you a bit, didn't it?
Yeah.
What was the first time you went through a proper experience like that once you started climbing outdoors?
For that first proper experience.
It sounds like the first time you touched rock was a proper experience, but
I think the first experience I had of really questing into the unknown was when I on-sighted flash dance in the quarries, because
I on-sighted that too. It's one of my moments, yeah.
Because I'd only been climbing E3s at the time, and it was just, I was reasonably comfortable, but I wasn't totally comfortable. And then I was just walking back from Conscience Slab. I passed under it, and I just looked up and said, I want to try that, basically.
Yeah.
And I got on it. And
so people might not know flash dance. You sort of got a couple of cracks, and then you quest off up this very smooth slab right up comes the dervish, and you get at least in the ride that there was a sideways RP4 in this very shallow placement. So it wasn't going to give you much hope. It was known about this sideways RP4 was known about.
Yeah, I couldn't get anything in there. I could only get the nut below it.
Yeah.
And I was on the sort of ledge before the crux for quite a while before I committed to it, I think.
Yeah. It's funny those, climbing gives you that moment of when you can't completely compose. So, okay, you're on that ledge, right? To do the route, you've got to do what's above.
Yeah.
Time's passing.
Yeah.
What is the thing that gets you from being the person stood on the ledge to to deciding to set off? Because that's quite a moment out in it. That's the real conversation happens then, isn't it?
Because I guess it's a decision that you have to make. You're either just going to stay there, or you're going to have to do something eventually. You're either going to jump off, you're going to down climb, or you're going to go up. And I don't want to be the one that down climbs. I want to be the version of myself that gets up it or falls off trying. So
it's like two or more Lewis parents having a conversation inside your head. One of them saying,
yeah, maybe,
let's get down. The other one saying, no, come on. They're trying to convince each other.
Yeah, the other one saying, hell no, I'm not going down.
One of them saying, let's just wait here.
Yeah. It'll all be fine. We'll just wait here.
We'll just wait here.
Yeah.
Then you sort of, the inevitable is you're going to go upwards, isn't it?
Yeah, I find myself thinking that the thing that gets me to get moving again is quite often the fact that if I move now, it's going to be no different to when I move later, but I'll just be less tired. So I might as well.
That's very rational.
Yeah, I might as well try and do it now.
Yeah.
You know, and if I fall off, then there's nothing I can really do to help that.
Right. And so you went for it?
Yeah. And it was all right. Yeah.
It's a buzz, isn't it?
Yeah, a real buzz.
Such a buzz.
Yeah.
And because often those climbs, there's the last little bit, for example, the last couple of moves before you reach the dervish probably aren't too bad, and you know.
No, I remember getting to the dervish and getting the bomber wire in and just like being like, what the hell have I just done?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
You know, how did I manage that?
Yeah.
And then after that, it felt like there was just a whole new world opened up.
Right.
You know, I felt more confident in myself.
Because of that one experience, that one experience, yeah.
Because like grades are they're just grades, and what really matters is the route, you know.
What do you mean?
Like a certain person could easily get up an E7 and then really struggle on an E4.
Right, yeah.
What really matters is the route, and you should focus less on the grade and more on what you really want to climb.
Yeah.
And that's what I did with fast dance.
Right. Just took you up. He was with you?
My friend Oscar.
Right.
Do you know Nick Peplow?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, he lives in Llanberis.
Another young lad, somebody your age?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I used to climb with Oscar all the time. We just used to stay at his house in Llanberis, and we'd just, I don't know, roam about, climb, swim, whatever. Living a good life.
Oh, really? So you're you're like 16 or something?
Yeah, 16, 17.
You and your mate just sort of, I don't know, sounds like pretty ideally. Yeah,
it was pretty idyllic.
Like a sort of gypsy lifestyle.
Yeah, it was a bit.
Huh.
It was a bit.
And Oscar was a climber too?
Yeah.
Is a climber, I guess.
Yeah, he was, I've got a lot of respect for him. He's a real legend.
Funny, it's an amazing age, and you can sort of get a lot from people, isn't it?
Yeah.
I remember taking a lot on board from friends at that age. It sort of became me.
Yeah.
You sort of, maybe your vision sees something in the other person that you resonate with, and try and take some of that on board.
Yeah. Yeah, he definitely helped me become who I am and who I want to be.
What did you get from Oscar?
He's just, I don't know, he's just such a free spirit.
Right.
You know, real hippie. He used to live with me in Ballinhelly, and he'd walk from our house all the way up to Mynydd Mawr with a bag full of saplings and just plant them and then walk back.
Right.
And yeah, it's just things like that.
Uh-huh.
And he biked back from Aberystwyth at 7 o'clock in the evening with a bag full of saplings, just going to plant them.
Right.
Yeah, I've got a lot of respect for him.
Oh, wow, beautiful.
Yeah.
That sounds like quite an old soul.
Yeah.
As are you. You feel like, you seem to me like an old soul in some ways.
Yeah, I get told that sometimes.
Right.
Yeah.
And what is it what do I or people mean by that?
I wouldn't know.
I wouldn't know.
Not for me to say.
No, I know. Yeah. And I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you and Oscar climbed a lot and learned the freedom of it all?
Yeah, I mean, before I met him, I kind of knew how to trad climb, And then Oscar was the first time I taught somebody how to trad climb.
All right.
And he ended up a good trad climber, albeit with his own kind of quirky twist on how to do things, which was technically safe, just quite unusual.
Right, example?
What's that?
What do you mean?
You know, the cliche, like, not doing things by the book.
Right.
But he gets things done.
Right, okay,
that kind
yeah.
of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. That sounds amazing.
Yeah.
So was this the sort of a blossoming time in your climbing and life, I guess? It sounds like
Yeah, definitely. But I find, looking back, like, you always think of certain times as being important because they always end up contributing to who you turn out to be.
Yeah.
I think that this time right now is a blossoming period, I suppose.
Yeah. The COVID time or your age or just beyond all that?
Just my age and the climbing I'm doing at the minute and moving out the house as well.
You're from your mum's house?
Yeah.
Right. Have you done that?
Yeah, I'm living with friends. Been living with friends for like 2 months now.
Did that feel like a big deal?
Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah.
It's nice.
Was it financial independence allowed that, or just you felt ready for it?
I felt ready for it, and I'm going into my second year of university at the end of the month.
Right.
So, yeah, felt like the time.
Okay. So this is you feel like you're going through a time now.
Yeah.
And what's changing?
I don't know, it's hard. I guess that kind of thing is hard to pin down until it's like months after the fact.
Right, yeah.
You know?
Have you got a plan? Not a plan, but...
Like long term?
Well, are you steering your ship to a star?
Don't know, finish uni, maybe live around here for a while, do some travelling, you know, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But keep climbing, keep trying to get better.
Right.
Yeah.
In terms of climbing, what's been the sort of high points that you've got the most from since that flash dance experience?
I did the spirit level with my friend Jacob, which was my first E7.
Wow, where's that?
It's sort of above it's above Seamstress Slab. It's on a yellow wall where Remain of the Light and Slippery People is.
Okay. Is that like a very steep slab?
It's a steepish slab, I suppose, but still a slab.
Right.
It's more just bold.
Right.
You know.
E76B?
Yeah.
Right. Any runners?
Some really poor micro cams at about 4 meters up, maybe. Then the crux is around 6 meters up. Then the next runner is maybe 19 meters up.
Brilliant.
Yeah, it's good.
Fucking hell.
Yeah.
Flash head point or what?
I gave it a go on top rope, and then I got on it because I'd never done E7 before.
Right.
I didn't want to break my legs.
Right. Yeah. And so and just come back to that experience when you go up and you do the crux at 6 meters, you get it done, and then just that time between there and the runner at whatever 14, 19 meters is so amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, it's incredible.
Your anxiety sort of diminished a lot, and maybe you climb in a way that's not anxious. That's just my experience of it. Been over the anxiety of the crux and then just been in the moment of,
yeah,
I should be able to do this now.
Yeah, I find myself in the moment quite a lot, but then sometimes you can just snap out of it, and I think that's when things become really scary.
Right.
You know, but luckily I didn't.
Right.
It was all right.
Have you ever?
Yeah, I suppose so, but it's never ended badly.
Right.
So.
In terms of climbing, do you have? Are you fully independent now, or do you still have mentors or people you climb with?
I think
influence you a lot.
Everyone's learning all the time, but I'm fairly independent.
Right.
You know. Yeah.
Who do you pick up most of the skills from? You said you're able to pass on to. Sorry, was it Jacob?
Yeah, Jacob Hadley.
Right.
Who's around here.
You taught him to climb, but.
No, I didn't teach him to climb.
Oh, who do you live with?
I used to live with Oscar.
Oscar.
Yeah.
You were able to teach Oscar, but so by then you'd learned. Who taught you how to do it all? Those guys like Pete and
odd people. Yeah, Pete. Calf taught me a bit. Jamie Holding.
Okay.
My friend Kim. Just random people. You pick up things here and there until you've got a good skill set and you feel confident.
Right. You just mentioned Calf. Calf comes up. James McCaffey comes up in these podcasts quite a lot.
I bet he does. Yeah.
It's always people always bring him up. There's almost like a tradition that people sort of respect it, but no one ever says anything nice about him. No one's allowed to say anything nice about him. You have to say something kind of.
Oh, yeah. Well. I would, but
Say something nice about him?
Yeah.
Oh, you're okay. You're allowed.
Yeah. Yeah. Thoughts there. But,
Yeah.
Yeah. You wouldn't find me saying it very often.
No.
Yeah, but he knows, I'm sure.
Right, yeah. Yeah, same here. I can't help but say bad things about him, even. It's because I like him so much.
Well, he reciprocates quite often.
He bloody does, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He more than reciprocates.
Yeah.
He's quite caustic, isn't he?
Yeah, I think it's a good relationship.
Yeah,
I like relationships like that.
Yeah. When he's got that with a lot of people.
Yeah.
Yeah, funny guy. He said he doesn't hold back much. It's a really
No, he definitely doesn't.
interesting
He really
thing.
speaks his mind,
Yeah,
which is quite respectable.
yeah,
I think.
yeah, for sure. Especially for a...
Might have been a compliment there.
Yeah, well, I'll edit that out.
Yeah.
I'll take that out. So one of the things, Lewis, I was going to ask you, I was going to try this thing just to, an idea I had, forget the people to bring along some objects they got that mean something.
Yeah.
Mean something to you. It's funny, just this is a side, but I see you've got a pendant around your neck. I don't know if I was going to be one of them, but
Well, I
just
suppose
as I look at
could
it,
be.
from the little bit I know of you, that looks kind of pertinent to you. It's what's the material?
I'm not entirely sure. It might be bone.
Might be bone. At
it might
first I
not
thought it was
be.
like an L cap thing, but it's not. It's
Not. No. No.
it's a middle finger, isn't it?
It is a middle finger.
And I've seen you in pictures quite a bit doing a middle finger.
Yeah.
Even I saw James put up some photographs of Pembroke at the weekend.
Yeah, well, I'm kind of runs in the family a bit, I think. So no, like,
See, you brought along some photographs. Ha, amazing.
yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
looks so young, doesn't he?
Yeah. Well, I always was young.
Yeah. I know. Just your brain gets older, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So that's Will giving a middle finger. It's
Yeah.
what's that about? I sort of, I get it, but
Yeah.
it's when you sort of try and think about things, but it's a symbolic
Yeah,
thing.
it's
So if somebody's
symbolic,
taking your picture, you give
Just trying to
them
think
a
of the word.
finger.
Yeah.
It's
It's kind of symbolic of a
it's just got a-
lifestyle.
it's got a
I
meaning, isn't
suppose.
it?
Yeah.
And it's kind of a sign of affection, isn't it?
Yeah, I would say
But
so.
it's saying fuck off.
Yeah.
Fuck off, I like you.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah.
I don't often do it to people I don't like.
Right, yeah. So is it a sort of distance thing? It's sort of... Because I really like it.
Yeah.
It's one of these things I really like, and it seems really honest. More honest than a straightforward symbol of affection
Yeah.
in many ways.
Yeah, it's kind of very British symbol of affection, isn't it?
Yeah. Or like the Welsh say that word cunt a lot, don't they?
Yeah.
And that
yeah.
you'd say that to a mate, don't you? Is
Yeah.
that right?
Yeah, you would.
Yeah.
Yeah, you might do. Yeah.
Or am I wrong about that?
No, some people definitely would.
Right.
People like my grandparents who are sort of older Welsh definitely wouldn't,
Right.
but it is a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I've had this on since last September, about a
Right.
year now.
Uh-huh.
I might need a new one soon, it's wearing out.
Right.
Yeah.
Get it recarved, he give you that? Or just you buy it?
I got it from this little stand at the Bangor Marketplace. The guy goes around like Nepal and the Himalayas just gathering things to make pendants out of. It's quite impressive.
Right, huh?
Yeah.
So it's good. History. It's come
Yeah.
from somewhere. What does he like about
Just
that
like it.
photograph, Will?
I don't know, just
Sorry, I called you. Well, I've done that.
That's okay.
That's a really well. It's
all right.
neither a bad thing nor a good thing. It's a thing.
No, yeah, I don't take it as a bad thing at all. I don't know. It's just like you were saying. It's very honest, and I think
And
it's
his
it's
eyes
really
are.
himself.
I don't know who took the picture, but his eyes are full of love, aren't they?
Yeah, he's got this really cheeky grin.
Yeah.
Yeah, very mischievous
Uh-huh.
lad.
Have you got that side too?
I'd like to think so.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you said you're at university.
Yeah.
Doing what?
Environmental conservation.
Right.
Yeah, I thought I'd get into something that would make some kind of a difference, in the turbulent times we're in.
Uh-huh. Do you feel that turbulence?
Yeah, I feel there's just so much disrespect for natural things going about, and I really don't like it.
Yeah.
So I thought I'd get into something that would help counteract that disrespect.
Uh-huh. Is it?
Yeah.
Do you feel it consciously? Is it a big thing for you that?
Yeah. I mean, as a kind of hippie, I guess it's just not very nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Did
Yeah.
you? Whenever visitors started coming here, was that a manifestation of that? Because a lot of people came.
Yeah. People can be so disrespectful. I went to Cromlech Boulders the other day, going to try like Cromlech Roof Crack or something, this Semby boulder, and somebody had taken a big shit right under it.
Yeah.
So I couldn't do it.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just annoying. Yeah.
That's a metaphor.
Yeah, it is a metaphor.
Maybe somebody was doing it symbolically.
Maybe they just really didn't like Cromlech boulders. Not the best boulders, granted. They don't deserve that, surely.
No. But they've always been a sort of toilet, haven't they? That's always had that thing.
Yeah, well, it's where everyone parks up in the past.
Yeah.
Goes off, camps, drinks their beer, takes their pictures.
Right, yeah. I was there a few weeks ago, just as it was opening up, and there's some...
I think I saw you there, actually.
You drove past me, yeah, but you couldn't stop. There's some young university kids bouldering on the front face, and I just went over to... I was just chatting to them. There's this car revving like a bloke and his missus and two kids in the back just revving, just in that parking spot, just revving and revving.
Right.
And you can just feel the anger come out of the car. And then something came out of the back window and they just drove off and they looked down. It was a bag of sick. The guy just more or less thrown his bag of sick at this girl's feet and drove off. And it's just mad to see. I guess it's everyone's under lots of pressure and they're all going a bit crazy.
People are weird, aren't they? Just, why would you do that?
I don't know.
Yeah.
But just like, and the girl was just sort of looking at the sick and looking at me and looking at the car, just like, how do you...
What'd you say in that situation? Mental.
Yeah. But obviously the fella just couldn't connect his experience with the experience of other people.
Yeah, well, it must be really twisted, he must have had a really twisted view of the world to think that was all right.
Yeah.
To make that decision, right, here's what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
And then he does it. And then he drives off.
And nobody could pick up the bag. It was too gross to pick up. And then went back later and somebody had reversed over it and the bag had splattered. Just like, oh my God.
Jesus.
This is the world, man.
This is what we've come to.
It is so heavy, all that stuff, all the environment stuff in it.
Yeah.
Kind of goes back to your mate planting saplings.
Yeah.
Doing something.
Yeah, he's always been very active with it because he's got similar views, I think.
Yeah. What would you dream of doing?
What would you...
Did they put your sort of... Put your medicine into the... What would your medicine be for the...
What's for the world?
Yeah.
Just better education, I suppose. Just try to clamp down more on things like littering. And I think people get away with things pretty easily. I think. And people have lost touch with nature. People live very artificial, modern lives, and then they go on their like little escapes to the country to kind of fool themselves that they're still living how we used to, where we were, you know, entwined with nature and we got along with it. But it's not. It's an abusive relationship. Yeah.
It must. Yeah. There is a real healing side to nature, isn't there?
Yeah.
So I guess living here must be.
Yeah, very therapeutic.
Yeah. The sound of the trickling water, little.
Yeah. Yeah. It's lovely. You got a really nice place here.
It's not my place. I'm just down here for a week or so. Yeah.
Well, it is a very nice place.
It's my friend Bill Walton grew up here. That's how I've been coming down here for years and years, and I know Nick, the brother, and the mum and dad. Yeah, really cool place to be. Very gentle. Just get up in the morning and start walking. Well, I went for walks around the hillsides. It's really lovely because you just wander through, you know, these old footpaths you get. They've been there. I mean, they must be really old because there's walls either side of them. Someone who's built little walled in alleyways. I love walking along those things. They really feel really ancient.
Yeah, they probably used for all kinds of things back when more people lived in the hills. I suppose.
Yeah. There must have been a lot of people up there because there's lots of old houses.
Lots of ruins.
Yeah. What else have you got?
I've got this fleece that. I've got more photos here actually. First,
you said you're not very materialistic. You struggle to find 3 things to bring along.
I'm not really very. Yeah, I'm not like. I didn't know what to bring. I was at home earlier, just thinking, what the hell do I bring? Like, so I just set off with these things.
Right.
Got a picture here of Will when he was working in India.
What was he doing?
Rope access work.
Right.
And
what do you see in that picture? Because he sort of.
I don't know. It's just cheeky grin, innit?
Yeah. He's standing with 3 other Indians.
Yeah, but when he came back from that, it affected him because he was being paid more than the locals there for what was essentially the same job.
Right.
Just because he himself wasn't local.
Right.
And that was like out of his hands. He couldn't do anything about it.
Yeah.
Which is a shame, and he felt that was really unfair.
Right.
Which of course it is. And got a picture here of Will with Ugg.
Ugg, what's Ugg's real name?
Castle Glynn.
What's Ugg's name? It's
Matt Perrier.
Matt Perrier, yeah. He's got massive arms, isn't he?
Yeah, huge.
Massive arms.
Like tree trunks. Yeah, he's a lovely guy.
I met him last time, I think, at Pete Robbins' wedding up in Penna Pass.
Oh, yeah.
And Ugg sat in something that you weren't meant to. I was chatting to him, and he sort of relaxed back onto something you weren't meant to sit on, and the thing just smacked his smithereens, and he went spilling across the floor.
Really big guy.
Really big guy.
Yeah.
Were those 2 mates?
Yeah. Good mates. Yeah. I remember first time I met Ugg, it was January of last year, I think. And it was a big crew of us gone down to Porthos, go bouldering. Then we were just in the pub afterwards. And he takes this puzzle ring out of his wallet. You know puzzle rings?
No.
They're like rings that go on your finger that...
Oh, you have to separate them? Or
yeah, they're made up of like 4 different segments. And then he gave it to me and said that Will gave it to him when he came back from India.
Right.
And I just instinctively took it apart.
Right.
And I just could not for the life of me put it back together. So he told me to keep it until I could put it back.
Huh.
And then about a month ago, I was just on a Skype call with my sister Hannah, and I just sorted it out.
Right.
And it was just an amazing moment.
Oh wow!
I can't tell you how happy I was.
Wow. So
yeah,
it's is it like it's a bit like magicians used to have rings and put them together and take them apart. You sort of can't. Is it something like that? You can't work out how.
It's really unobvious how they go together until you do it, and then it's like, well, why didn't I think of that earlier?
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
And
so have you given it back to him?
I haven't seen him. He's busy all the time.
Right.
But I will give it back to him.
And so when you're describing that, when you're talking about taking it apart and putting it back together again, it's the way you've described it is you weren't trying to do it. You were just absent-mindedly.
I was just fiddling with it. Yeah. But I have spent, like, since I've had it, I've spent quite a while just trying to put it back together, like really focusing.
Right.
But I guess I had to be focusing on something else for it to really work.
Right.
Just strange.
And I guess all the focusing's going into your brain, isn't it? Instead of
it's
doing something to your you're understanding it somehow.
Yeah, yeah.
But then,
Don't know.
when you,
I just remember fiddling with it and then feeling something that I'd not felt before. 'Cause, you know, I've held this thing in my hand for ages,
right,
and felt something I hadn't felt before. Clicked together. And I was like, "Whoa!
Right.
What have I just done?"
right,
Yeah.
huh.
Yeah.
And do you talk to Ugg about Will? You
I
don't
haven't
see him much?
spoken to Ugg much,
Mm.
but we have spoken a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He still climbs? Or was he do?
I don't really know. I think he does.
Yeah.
I think he's just quite busy.
Right.
You know. And last picture is of Will as a baby.
Ah.
Yeah. With his mum, Penny.
Also, his mum isn't your mum?
No, we're half brothers.
Right, okay.
Same as all my brothers.
Right.
Yeah.
Who's your other brothers?
I've got a little sister called Abby, and then I've got an older brother called Connor, and then again an older brother called Tom, and then an older sister called Hannah, who's about the same age as Will.
Right.
But,
I'm just looking at that looks like an old soul in that baby, doesn't it?
yeah.
Again, I hope you don't take any offense in what I'm saying,
don't take any offense from that.
but it's sort of there's a lot going on, and just cameras capture things that maybe sometimes aren't there.
Yeah, they do.
But and that stuff, you think, oh, what's he looking at or thinking about?
Yeah. Yeah.
And again, is there a reason why you particularly like that picture? Is it?
I guess because I don't have any pictures of him when he was younger. It's just part of the collection, you know, collection I've got.
I guess before mobile phones, there were just fewer pictures. I don't have any pictures of my childhood at all, apart from until I started climbing. I have no photographs of me. I don't even have any as a child. The first photographs I own of myself are when I started climbing and got a little camera.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't have any childhood photographs whatsoever.
Yeah. Is that something, do you wish that you did? Or?
There was some I saw when I was little. It'd kind of be nice to see them again, to see my mum and stuff like that, just to sort of, not to bring back memories, because I remember them. It wouldn't bring back the memory anymore, but just it focuses things a little bit.
Yeah, there is something
doesn't
special about a photograph. It's like a window.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess I do wish I had them, but
yeah,
I got memories.
Yeah,
so that's
fair enough.
That's the main thing. Yeah, maybe just we didn't have a camera or something like that.
Yeah. Are you sure there's none?
I'm not sure there's none, because there was somebody had a Polaroid camera one Christmas. But I know it would have happened. You'd have got a Polaroid camera one Christmas and then used it, and then no one would have bothered getting any more film for it.
Oh, yeah.
Because it would never, would kind of might not come out again. And yeah, my mum and dad had a camera. They definitely had a camera at some point. Yeah.
Do you have any family members still alive that you could ask?
Yeah.
How old are you?
52.
52.
Yeah, there are. I've got 3 brothers.
Oh, right.
Don't get the impression they've got many photographs either. Yeah.
Are they older or younger?
All older.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm the baby. Yeah. I've got a daughter, and one of the things I always regretted was that my mum never met her, because my mum died before she was born, and just I would have loved if that connection had happened.
Yeah.
Because I imagine they would have liked each other a lot. So it's a kind of maybe reflecting on your relationship with Will, of not really having a first-hand relationship, but tell my daughter a lot about my mum. They sort of, you're passing stories on, aren't you? And, and your own affection for someone, passing it on to others.
Yeah, and that can be infectious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's for yourself too, isn't it? It's sort of passing something on gives yourself.
Yeah, like people always ask me, like, whenever Will comes up, they ask me, like, are you alright to talk about Will and things like that? And I'm just, of course it's alright, because, like, if nobody talks about him, then he's just gonna, like, his memory's just gonna fade away, and that's the last thing that I want to happen.
Right.
So, yeah, I'm happy to talk about him.
Yeah. No, you seem so.
Yeah.
But still, I appreciate that you are happy to do that, because you can't take it for granted that people. Why do you not take it for granted? Don't know. Just
Some people would find it harder.
yeah,
I suppose.
yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's as you say, keep things alive in yourself, and
Yeah. Yeah. And last item, just a fleece that used to be Will's, and then Rachel gave it to me.
right.
I wear it quite often.
There's often a smell in the fleece, isn't there?
Yeah.
Smells indoors.
Smells of indoors.
Yeah.
Just been
Smells of a
washed.
house.
Well, it has been in a house.
Yeah. You know, houses all have smells, don't they?
Yeah. It's an old fleece. It's like from the 90s, I think. Low Alpine.
I was going to say it's not even got a brand on it.
It
That has
does.
got-
It's Low Alpine.
inside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's got a little cigarette burn.
Right.
Well, maybe not cigarette, but you know.
A bullet hole.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where'd you get that from?
Rachel
Yeah.
Robbins.
Right.
Yeah, I've got a few of his old things from her, like his old slackline, which is so thin. It's really hard.
Right. Was that the style in 2004? Slim, thin slack
I
lines?
suppose so. He was very good at slacklining.
Right.
He did it a lot.
Uh-huh.
And I've got an old homemade buff of his,
Right.
which is, as far as buffs go, it's a bit shit, really.
Right.
He wasn't a good sewer, maybe. I don't know.
Right.
Who am I to say?
Liz, what's the scene like in Llanberis, the climbing scene and social scene like these days? You just sort of drive through sometimes. I wonder what's, you sort of drive through, you're very aware, you don't have a,
It's good.
you're very peripheral to what's going on. I lived here, in the 90s, I lived here for a while.
Yeah.
I didn't get on very well with it, and I sort of lived here
Why didn't you get along with it?
I didn't make any friends.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I lived here for a while, and I think after 9 months I left, and the day I was leaving there was no one to say goodbye to.
Yeah.
Just sometimes,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think I've
Doors never
got
opened.
a good like group of people. Like just before coming here, I was sat outside Mabon with Ray and Kath drinking kombucha,
Right.
and yeah, it's just very social.
Yeah.
I think if I was to speak personally, I'd think that there's like a separation in the scenes between the people who take themselves seriously and the people who don't take themselves so seriously. And I definitely lean towards people who don't take themselves so
Right.
seriously.
Who takes himself least seriously?
George Smith,
Right.
Big George, definitely.
He's the king.
Yeah, he's the king. Yeah, no doubt about it.
Right.
Yeah, he's the archetype.
Is he right? He's the founding father, is
Yeah,
he? Oh,
yeah.
awesome. He just lives up the hill here, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does up in Bachwen.
Yeah. What's his energy?
Great. He's just
Yeah.
delightful, really. I don't see him all that often, but when I do, big friendly face, really.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
Huh.
yeah.
And it's quite a good group of the people who don't take themselves so seriously.
Yeah, a
Right.
good group, group. I find it hard getting on with people who take themselves really seriously.
And people around here who take themselves really seriously.
Well, I think there's people everywhere that take themselves very seriously. I don't think you really should.
Why
But
not?
that's just me. Why not? I find that if I was to take myself too seriously, I'd get less out of life. Because there's just... I don't know. There'd be less to enjoy. You'd just be overthinking everything all the time. Thinking about your image. About... I mean, if you're a climber, thinking about grades and stuff. And if I was to take myself seriously, I know I wouldn't be getting the most out of living.
Right.
And I think life is what you make it.
Hmm.
So, yeah, you should make it something good.
Hmm?
You should just make it something good.
Yeah. I totally agree with you
Yeah.
about.
Just not worry about it too much.
Yeah. I've got a phrase for some people who I really like, and I say that they get the joke.
Mm.
The joke being life. Yeah. The joke's on you, innit? So,
Yeah, jokes on all of us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there's like everything. There's balance, isn't there? Sometimes you have to think about stuff and give
Yeah.
it some thought.
Yeah, obviously, if you don't think about anything, then life might go a bit off the rails.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Don't know what. Not much to say in that department.
And
maybe.
around here, there's people who take themselves seriously climbing, you would say.
Well, I don't
It's
wanna
always
go
seemed
too,
like a sort of the traditionally Sheffield used to be full of people who trained in cellars and tried to do grades,
Yeah.
whereas over here people were sort of getting
Yeah.
waking up on Tuesday and going underground for 3 days on acid and then going and doing E7 and Gogarth and then come back and doing the same.
Yeah. More of
Archetypally.
a kind of party scene, maybe.
Yeah,
Yeah. More hippie,
right.
which I like. But I'm not slagging people off that take themselves really seriously.
Yeah.
You do you. I'm just saying that I wouldn't
Right.
enjoy it as much.
And there's a big enough group of people who you feel like-minded with around here.
Yeah. There's loads of people that I connect with,
Yeah.
really. And lots of good people that I met through uni as well.
Right.
People that I'm living with now.
Okay. You live in Lambert?
No, I'm living in Bangor.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, got some good friends though.
Right. I was in Bangor. Bangor's quite sort of downbeat place, is it? Is it one of those places that suffered a lot from shops closing down and all that sort of stuff?
Yeah, maybe.
Or is there a soul to it?
There's maybe a soul. Maybe not as much of a soul as here. But,
Right.
you know, it's close to the uni and it's where all the friends I've made in university live.
Yeah.
And it's a convenient place, you know.
Mm.
Got a good house.
Right.
Yeah.
I've spent lots of time down this way. Dear old, my soul brother, Andy Scott, used to live around the corner. Do you know Andy?
I don't. No.
Yeah. He lived in the corner until he emigrated to New Zealand earlier this year. But over the years, I've come down and spent lots of weekends here with him. And they're always just such amazing weekends. Always like full of unexpected action and people and spirit and fun, climbing and hanging out.
Yeah.
I used to call these going to visit him, going to Andy's sweat lodge. A sweat lodge. You know, there was sort of, I don't know if it's bullshit, but those things that Indians would sort of create a really hot room and sort of stick wooden sticks through the flesh and your nipples and haul yourself up by a rope and hang off the rope for like 36 hours.
It's like a torture mechanism?
No, until you get enlightenment. It's just sort of, it's kind of just enlightenment through torture basically, and it's sort of, you succumb to it willingly.
Yeah, it feels enlightening. Sounds enlightening.
So I used to refer to Andy's place as his sweat lodge because cool things would always happen with cool people and you'd always leave feeling slightly enlightened from it. So since he's gone, I've not had so many of those.
But also with a bit of pain in the nipple region.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, you'd often have a scar of some sort.
Wow.
Yeah. But that's been like sort of for many, many years coming down here. Just like always random little, you know, even if we'd set off to walk from here into the heights for a last pint, you'd get there and tell the story of your walk in, because stories would just, something would happen that would turn a simple act into a story.
Yeah. There was always stories swirling about here and
yeah.
a lot of gossip.
Yeah, is there?
Yeah.
Well, it's a small town, isn't it?
Yeah, small town. Yeah.
Everyone knows a little bit of something.
Yeah.
Or something different.
Something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you engage in gossip?
So I've got a theory, if I know it, it's no longer gossip, it's just no one's telling me any secrets.
Last person on the list.
That's what I've always felt like. I've sort of gone, seriously, I could just make this massive point of keeping this totally secret because it's totally, I'm the only person who knows this. And then you sort of know that everyone else knows about it. So I learned that early in life. I'm sort of quite far down the the ladder.
Why do you think that is?
Maybe I'm not inquisitive enough. I mean, I do enjoy good slagging. I do love slagging.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's kind of, I get a lot out of that.
For the right people.
Yeah.
Good slagging can be fun. Yeah.
Again, back to James, he's always, there's quite often...
People who won't take it to heart.
Yeah, but
that's fun.
He won't take it to heart. I think that's a funny thing. He sort of, He doesn't always get the joke, does he? There's been a few times he's not quite got that joke.
No, but he should do. He should do. So we got to keep at it.
Yeah. Just work him a bit harder.
He'll learn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And climbing recently? You?
Yeah. As I say, like I've been bouldering a lot. Sort of gotten back up to my bouldering ability before lockdown.
Right.
So I've been having a lot of fun with it.
Right. Where do you go?
Where?
Yeah. What's your
well,
favourite bouldering areas?
Well, I mean, obviously I love the pass. I think Ogwen's great as well. I've done a really good trio of boulders recently. Smackhead in Ogwen, In Your Honour, and Lizard King.
Right. Where's In Your Honour?
That's in Ogwen. It's do you know where Snapdragon is?
Yes.
Yeah, it's just like up the hill from there.
Okay.
It's quite nice.
Right. A sort of new school thing, is it? Fairly new?
I don't know. Hard to say. It is a crack climb, I suppose, but it's more like balancy and bandori on
Right.
kind of using side pulls in the crack, you know.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Nice. Have you done new ascents, first ascents, ever?
Yeah, a couple.
Mm.
A couple, you know. I've got some odd routes just in the quarries, you know, that I've done with Oscar.
Right. Like random things?
Yeah, just random things. I remember once we went to Glenfronwy and we found this wall.
That's a quarry, isn't it?
Yeah. It's the
Like where the
quarry on
film
like,
set?
the other side.
Oh,
yeah,
no. Right.
other side of the valley.
Right.
To the Genoa quarries. We found this wall and we had a bolt. Sorry, not a bolt, a drill. And we'd ordered a bolt and then we put it in. Then we realised that we'd kind of put it in a bit high. We needed another one.
Right.
So we drilled another hole and we got loads of nails from DIY shop. Just like regular wood nails, and we just hammered as many in as we could and wrapped a sling around it.
Right.
And we'd be taking falls onto it, and each time it would bend a bit.
Right.
That's probably the sketchiest first ascent that we did. Yeah, I'm not doing that again.
Right. Was this just for the hell of it?
Yeah,
I guess.
Yeah, we didn't want to go buy another bolt.
Right.
Nails are cheaper.
Yeah.
Yeah, stingy.
Right.
Yeah.
And apart from the climbing scene, is there like a local? What's the local scene right around here? Do you still connected to that?
Yeah.
Is there like lots of work for people
yeah,
and
but, like it's kind of the two are kind of joined for me in a way because a lot of my friends who are local, who have always been local, have become climbers, and you know, I'm not exclusively friends with climbers, but it just kind of turns out that way. But I tend to make friends through either climbing or partying or music.
right?
Yeah.
What do you mean by music?
Just like, you know, having a jam somewhere,
Okay.
and you meet people that way.
Like down by the lake with your guitar type of thing.
Not always by the lake. Hard to find somewhere to plug my bass in by the lake.
Right.
But yeah.
Well, what do you somebody's house or what?
Yeah, my house or my friend Yola's got a really nice house up in the hills above Bethesda. We
Right.
jam at quite often.
So you'll meet there with mates with
Yeah, just
drums or-
various instruments,
right.
and yeah, just jam along. It's really nice. It's just a really good connection to make with someone. You know, you're all playing your instrument, having a great time, and you make eye contact. And
Right.
You just know.
So I
that-
can't play any instruments. I sort of don't quite get it. But so
Yeah.
how does it all work? So what sort of instruments would be there, for example?
Well, there'd be a few guitars, acoustic guitars, and somebody would have a lead guitar. And I've recently gotten into playing the bass guitar,
Right.
so I'll be on bass. Somebody will be playing the bongos or drums, and then
So somebody just start playing something.
yeah, just join in however you can.
Right. Not
Right.
like sort of making up stuff as you go.
Yeah, sometimes.
Right.
Yeah,
It must be amazing.
yeah. I mean, I don't claim to be a really good player or anything, but I do think that it's incredibly fun, and if you've got the means to get an instrument and learn it, the time to learn it, then I think you absolutely should.
Right.
Yeah.
That's brought a lot to your life.
Yeah, like music is very important to me. Yeah.
Tell us more about that experience of jamming, because it says not son of experienced.
I don't know, it's just you make really good connections with people because you just playing along and you make eye contact. You just know that you're having a great time, and you think, oh, that sounded good,
right.
you know, and you big grin breaks out across your face. Like, I'm grinning now just thinking about it.
Right now, wow.
Yeah, it's really a beautiful thing.
The song, whatever you want to call it, just keeps moving. Do people sing?
Yeah, I quite like singing. A lot of my friends can sing.
Right.
You know, sometimes I do covers, sometimes people write their own stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Huh. And this is like how you pass an evening. It sounds, just interested in it.
Yeah.
I'm not I'm not being a dickhead, just interested in it.
No, I didn't think you were. Yeah, it is. It is often how we'd pass an evening.
Right.
Yeah.
And you never record something, that's not the point?
Occasionally. And sometimes one of our friends will put them out on his YouTube channel.
Right.
But, I never really listen to them. I'm more into it just for being in the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the connection, I guess.
Yeah. Just, it's almost similar to climbing in a way. When you're not thinking about anything, you're just thinking about the climbing, and you may be thinking like just how good it feels.
Right. Yeah.
It's a surprisingly similar feeling.
Yeah.
It's like I want to say escapism, but that might have some kind of negative connotations. It's really just being in the moment and forgetting about everything for a bit.
And you're not thinking about what to play or what to not play. You're just sort of relaxed into it.
Some part of you might be if you're thinking about what to do next.
Yeah.
But you can really get into a groove of things.
Yeah. And you feel like you're making something, creating something.
Yeah. It feels quite maybe like a first ascent or something.
Right, yeah. I get that, because it's sort of, I love creative stuff like that. I really enjoy when you feel it's creative. One of the things I really like
new.
about yeah. And one of the things I love about it is, the thing where you're leaving space, deciding not to play, and you decide not to talk or decide not to do something, and then you feel the creativity of that, music's a lot to do with silence, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like the sort of the more.
Could you elaborate on that?
Well, okay, so we were doing this thing, an on-stage thing at Kendal last year with the BMC, and we got these dancers, and I was going to perform this thing of some lines I'd written. Dancers were going to dance along. These two professional dancers were going to dance along, and we're rehearsing it, and it just sort of thinking, it's okay, but it just felt too busy. And then I thought, I'll just shut up.
Yeah.
So I just shut up, and then suddenly the thing it all worked. Yeah. And I didn't take myself out of it. I just was there, but
it's good to just be there sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, if I'm jamming with my friends and a few of them are really just going well together, sometimes it'll be better if everyone else just lets them do their thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's
you're not there. You're there.
No. You don't feel left out.
Yeah.
It's just, it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
To watch anyway.
And then once you trust into that, when the time comes to join in, you feel more.
You might get the hang of things. You might be able to join in.
Yeah.
It's not a selfish act.
No.
Is it?
No.
No.
And when the impetus there is, now the time is right, rather than I really should join in. Whereas I really should join in is probably going to be counter to the energy of something. Yeah,
I mean, if you're using the word should, then maybe you're going about it wrong.
Yeah. I shouldn't join in.
Well, you could learn something. You could learn how to play something.
I get it from DJing, I think, a lot from that.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so
good DJ.
I sort of got around it. if you know what I
Yeah.
mean. And I love music so much. I get
Yeah.
tons out of music.
Yeah.
I get
Yeah.
tons out of music.
What kind of bands do you like listening to?
Don't really listen to any bands.
Yeah, you like to techno.
Not techno, maybe disco or jazz. I'd like to get into jazz more, and that sort of thing of silence. I hear that in jazz a lot. I don't really
Yeah.
get jazz, but it's one of the things I hear,
Yeah.
and I really like is that space thing, which is, God, when you tune into it, it's just really beautiful.
And when everything comes back together, it makes it
Oh my
more
God,
impactful.
yeah.
It's important to know when not to do something as well.
Yeah, having silence. Or country and western, I really like country and western. Some traditional stuff.
Any
I like-
folk?
Irish folk.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah. Because you just
Cool.
listen to it a lot when you're
Yeah.
young.
Does that have a lot of nostalgia attached to it?
Well, not really. No,
No?
you just, okay, so I do love techno, but then you take it on board and then I can hear what techno's all about in lots of music, like Irish music and in country and western, just that driving,
Yeah.
percussive immersiveness.
Yeah.
You can hear that in all sorts of music once, I find,
Immersion, that's the word.
once you sort of hear it, once you get these other types of music, like Irish music of borons, and the sound of that's so heavy. It's like a sort of round drum you play like that,
Yeah.
and it's such a badass sound comes off it, and it's really sort of, they really lay into it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you can like, when you listen to techno, and then when you're listening to something that's definitely not techno,
Yeah.
you might start off like dancing in the same
Yeah,
way.
yeah.
And that's purely because the kind of the subconscious of the music, maybe, like not what it actually sounds like, but what it really does to you is quite similar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally, yeah. And I love techno too. Like I do really like techno.
Yeah. It's fun, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. And you?
Yeah. I'm into all sorts of things. I feel like I really got into music when I started listening to Bob Dylan,
Right.
and that was after Rachel told me that Tambourine Man was Will's favourite song.
I was going to ask you about that because you mentioned that earlier on, and immediately made me think of Bob Dylan. Yeah.
Yeah, and so I listened to that and I thought, hey, this is really good.
Right.
So I started exploring more. And then I listened to loads of Bob Dylan, so I started listening to more other things. And now I'd say Bob Dylan's my favourite sort of single musician, and then the Grateful Dead are my favourite band.
Right.
Yeah.
They sort of did like country rock, is that right? Grateful Dead?
I would give them completely their own genre,
Right.
really. Maybe just their own genre is so unique.
Right.
And just makes me feel really happy. It's very simple.
Uh-huh.
Well, not simple music, but it's a very simple message. It's just peace and love, and you can't. It's hard to hate it.
Right.
Like another band I really like is the Velvet Underground, and I really love them, but they've got a lot of kind of darker undertones.
Yeah.
Like hard drugs, like heroin, things like that. But Grateful Dead, they're just, listening to them just makes me happy in a very, very pure way.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Huh. So you listen to that at home and
Yeah.
play along?
Yeah, sometimes. If I can manage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you like to be in a band?
I don't know, band is a bit of a commitment, maybe. I quite like keeping it informal and just jamming.
Yeah. It sounds like you get as much... and I know you can't compare things, but you found something in jamming that is special.
Yeah. And again, I'm not claiming to be like the best musician.
Yeah.
But
it's almost
I
like
do have
it's
a
not
lot of
about
fun.
that, is it?
No, it's not about that.
Yeah.
No.
It's empathy and
Yeah.
connection, I guess, if you're
Yeah.
being open to that.
Yeah. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah. Have you done all the objects? This apple isn't yours, is it? Is that mine?
No, that's just an apple. I do have 2 more pictures, which was just in there. Got a dog.
Huh, is that your dog?
Yeah.
Looks quite happy.
Yeah, he's a very happy dog, little corgi. Yeah.
Lives with you in Bangor.
No, he lives with my grandparents at the minute
Right.
because they've got a lot of land and he likes to run about, you know. And during lockdown, he was a bit confined.
Yeah.
He's a good dog.
Yeah.
And then I've got a picture of me and my girlfriend Lucy, who I sort of met or got to know through climbing, maybe.
Is that who dropped you off?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's right.
That's quite an old picture.
It's from just before last summer.
All right.
Yeah.
You both look a lot younger there. I guess you were a lot younger.
Yeah,
You're
well, I've
you're
got a
only
bit of
18.
facial hair since.
That's a lovely picture.
Yeah.
At the RAC Boulders, is it?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's the first time I'd gone out with a dad. Her dad was there.
Right.
And it was a bit of like, you know, like when you go out and you meet your girlfriend's dad and you just want to get along, you know.
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
You can tell that he's kind of sizing you up.
You'd want a
bit,
tie.
You know? Yeah.
Should I wear
But we
a tie?
got along quite well.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Is she from around here? That's a
Yeah,
really
she
nice
is,
picture.
yeah. She lives in Friulas. Yeah.
Where?
Friulas.
Right.
Yeah.
Where's that?
It's sort of between here and Bangor. You know where Llandergai is? Okay. Well,
Is there
it's close
Cantor
by.
for Wales? Is there somewhere called? Is that somewhere different?
It's very close to the Perrin.
Right.
You know, the gas
Yeah.
station.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is she a local?
Yeah, she is.
I don't know what I mean by that word. You know, what I mean, it's bullshit. So I'm talking
Yeah,
as
I
a
mean,
stranger here.
she's
Liz.
lived here her whole life.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Sorry, I do feel like a stranger here. So I'm sort of using these
It's alright.
stupid words.
You might know her dad actually. Do you know John Tatum?
No.
Okay.
No.
Some people might know him.
Is he a climber?
Yeah. Yeah, he used to be quite handy. He did used to do like E5s, like he did the long run, I think,
Okay.
on North Stack Wall. It's quite impressive.
Have you done that?
I've not done it, no.
Yeah.
But I'd be up for doing it someday,
Yeah.
maybe. Yeah.
God, that in the CAD must be so terrifying.
Yeah, I know. I feel like if I stayed in the moment, they'd be alright.
Yeah.
If I clicked out of it,
Yeah.
I feel like it's suddenly become really
mm.
scary.
I mean, now I think of it doing the CAD. I thought I actually imagine I could find it quite easy and be okay on
Yeah.
it. But what if you don't? It's
Yeah,
so
yeah.
fucking heavy if you don't. If
Yeah,
it's not
yeah,
easy,
yeah, it's serious.
It's either going to be quite easy or really, 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 really hard.
But it's apparently one of the easiest E6s in North Wales.
But that doesn't mean anything, does
No,
it?
but
It doesn't
yeah,
mean
well,
anything.
Yeah, you could find it really hard. Like,
And you go up and get, people say, good gear behind a flake, slings. And just, you know what I mean, when you traverse away, who are you going to be? Are you going to be the guy who sort of totally trusts that rock, or you think that...
yeah. Well, there's an interesting debate there. Is it better to not trust it, or is it better to trust it?
Right,
you
yeah.
know? Like, both kind of have their drawbacks and their positives,
Right,
you know?
yeah.
So if you really trust it, then you're going to try harder and be more confident, but you might err on the side of recklessness
Yeah.
and be less cautious.
Right.
If you don't trust it, then you might just be too scared to do well enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
But it's real sort of the lure of those things is...
Yeah. Chop roots.
Yeah.
Not as in nowadays. Not
no.
in vogue, are they?
And I don't know if I want to do chop roots anymore. Sort of,
Yeah.
I really like my health. I've come to appreciate it.
They do have their draw, though, don't
They
they?
do have their draw. I mean, I was out bouldering the other day in this place. It's a bit highball. And I went up this thing, and I've not been climbing a lot, so it wasn't very on form. There's this bit where you have to let go. You're doing a really easy move, but you totally have to let go to do the move. Where if that 1% chance of doing something wrong did happen, you'd take a long fall. But the chance of something going wrong is so minimal because you're just basically moving your hands. But because you're not been climbing much, you're not very in the groove of it. So I stood there and then just latched and grabbed this hold.
Yeah.
And I pulled myself over. And I was starting to say to myself, that was pretty stupid. I sort of half saying to myself, that was pretty stupid. But before I finished the sentence, I was saying to myself, that was fucking brilliant. I set off to tell myself off. But, But the reality that it was really good fun took over and finished the sentence for me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Actually.
Yeah. That's good. That's good because you kind of accepted the fun side of it more than the serious side of it.
Yeah. Huh?
Yeah.
Hey, amazing, Lewis.
Yeah, well, thanks for having me on. And
Yeah.
hope I didn't bore you.
Not at all. No, it was really.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah.
It was fun.
Did it mean sometimes you think it's going to talk about something and I don't know what you imagined it would be because...
I don't know. I guess I just imagined it to be like this, talk about climbing, talk about Will, talk about living around here, things like that. You know? Yeah.
There's probably stuff I forgot to ask you about, I don't know. Not forgot, but...
Well, I mean, if you still remember...
No, as I mean, not forgot, but didn't think of, because
right.
I very quickly got to the limit of my knowledge of you. If I can slide Cav off and do the finger, that's kind of basically all I knew about you.
Yeah, that's been our kind of bonding experience, just slagging Cav off. What a way to make friends.
And you were in Wales with him at the weekend, down in Pembroke?
Yeah, down in Pembroke, yeah. Yeah, I feel really shagged now.
Right.
Really tired.
Did a lot of climbing?
Not even loads, just, Pembroke is tiring.
Right.
Yeah, he was going to get on Chupacabra, but he'd been doing some, one-arm fingerboarding earlier on in the week and decided against it because he was feeling a bit like he could go nuclear at any minute, his arms.
What do you mean?
Well, sometimes you feel strong, and then sometimes you feel like you could do something, but you also might just get terminally pumped.
Yeah.
And then it's all just over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny, that stuff, because the other thing is you're there, aren't you? You're at the leap. Chupacabra's been Bransby's E9, E89 thing in the leap.
Yeah.
It's run out more than serious, as I understand.
Yeah, run out. From the way Cav talks about it, it's quite safe.
Right, okay.
But, it is E8, E9. So.
Yeah. And you're there, and you want to do it, but your arms are feeling tired. But the thing is, you're there, too. It's a really hard choice to make, isn't it? Because opportunities don't always exist, do they?
No.
And sometimes you think it's always there, but it's not always there.
Cav's got just this huge drive, and I've got no doubt that he's going to get back down there pretty soon and do it.
Mm.
Yeah, it's a good thing to have that drive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you?
Yeah, I'd like to think so. I mean, I really, really love climbing.
You've not talked about it in terms of drive, it's experience. You've not I didn't ask you about what routes you'd like to do, but would you have an answer for that if I did?
Yeah, I suppose I would.
Indian phase.
Maybe not. That's like the ultimate chop route, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'd like to do the rainbow recalcitrance before the end of the year.
Right.
And I'd also like to do windows of perception, because it's been a bit of a running kind of thing, because I remember at the last youth meet, North Wales youth meet, I was volunteering, and I was taking this kid Arlo around who was gone really good now. He's short, but he's got arms of steel,
Right.
He just went down to Pembroke, just banging out the E5s, and it's really good to see how he's doing. Anyway, tangent. So I got on windows of perception, just on top rope, and it's dubbed the hardest rocker in the world.
Right.
And then I kind of failed a bit on my first go. Then I got back on it, almost managed it. I think I got back on it, and then I did it just on top rope. It's like, oh, I should lead this. But then I didn't have tri-cams with me for the top shot hole. I'd been told that it's a really good idea to have them, so I thought, oh well, I'll just come back with some tri-cams. So I come back with tri-cams, go up on the first lead attempt, reach out to dry the foothold, just with my thumb, and then it crumbles in half. On the hardest rocker in the world, and the foothold's even smaller now. It used to be this small but positive little edge that you could, once you had your foot on it, it was hard getting your foot onto it, getting your weight onto your heel, but then you stood up and you got the ledge, and that was that. But now it's about half the size, and it's slopey, so it's really insecure right until you get to the ledge.
Huh.
So Yeah, it's...
Has anyone done it since?
No, it is possible. I've been trying it. I fell off it a lot.
Right.
But it is possible.
Huh.
And then, I guess the big one that I want to do is Willie 2 Goes Direct.
Right.
Because my brother did the first set and Willie 2 Goes, and it's an amazing...
Is that a boulder problem?
Yeah, it's an amazing boulder
the
problem.
bumhole area, is that right?
In the where?
The bumhole?
I'm not sure. It's up the meadow in Llanberis, like...
It's not called the bumhole anymore. Maybe it's a... There's an area up there called the bumhole, wasn't there? Used to call it the bumhole.
I'm not sure. It's just up the hill from, like, Boyson's Groove.
Right, okay, yeah.
But I've gotten really close to doing this Willie 2 Goes Direct, and at the minute I'm just waiting for colder temperatures.
What sort of problem's that?
It's this friction slab. It's holds really small, and it's not dissimilar to a really hard slab on the grip, but maybe less grippy. Right. And yeah, it's quite hard. When it gets done, it's going to be maybe 7C or 7C plus, but you know, like a slab, like not a strenuous kind of thing, just really technical. And for like most of last year, I felt like I really wanted to get on it, but there was so much pressure building up around it that I found
from
myself
yourself?
like, yeah, just totally from myself. Like I found myself doing other things instead because it was hard to get up there and actually try it. Because it's just, you know, I really want to do it. I want to get the first ascent of it, and that pressure that I was putting on myself was almost debilitating. But I've kind of let go of that, so once the temperature drops a bit, I'm going to get back on it, because it's very slopey.
Right, yeah,
It's a bit hot at the minute.
Yeah. Sounds like the should. You used to feel should.
Well, yeah, I might have used the word should, like, a year or two ago on it, but I wouldn't now. I just want to do it now, because it's a really cool line.
Yeah.
And it is still important to me, but, like, it's not... There's nothing negative surrounding it, you know?
Yeah. That's what you want, isn't it? A beautiful thing.
Beautiful thing.
Yeah. Ah, cheers, Lewis. Amazing.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, thanks for that.
Yeah.
We really appreciate it.
It's alright.
Huh.
Yeah. Been nice. It's been a good chat.
Good.
Yeah, thanks for asking me on.
Oh, yeah, no, absolutely honoured.
I'm honoured. Yeah. But I'm glad that we spoke about family and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I could have spoken more about other siblings, like my brother Connor, who lives with me. Not lives with me, he lives in Bangor.
Yeah.
I see him all the time, and I've got a really, really strong relationship with him. And, you know, we share the same dad again. But, yeah, we're really, really close. And first time we met was a bit of an epic. I don't know if you've heard about it. It was when I was like 15, I think. We went climbing to Vivian Quarry. I hadn't met him before. And we did mental lentils, which is HVS. It was fine. I went round the pond to psychotherapy. Didn't need to. Did it fine, you know, easy. And then rethreaded it for him. Then he top roped it, got to the top. And then he said, alright, take. You know, I took in. And then I lowered him about a metre, and then I heard this resounding crack. And next thing I knew, like, he was just falling. I looked up and he was falling. And he just, like, hit the ground with a huge thud right next to me. And for a second I was thinking, when am I going to snap out of this daydream? And then I didn't. So I just instantly got on it, trying to keep him alive. Because he was like, had a massive head wound. You could see his skull. He was bleeding quite profusely from it. So I wrapped his jumper around that quite tightly. I pulled him over into the recovery position and opened his mouth. There was like blood in his mouth, things like that. And then I shouted at some people by the pool to call, you know, an ambulance. And they did. Mountain Rescue came. But it was quite a while before anyone really arrived on the scene. And, you know, if I hadn't acted how I had, I know that he wouldn't be around today.
Right.
And so that's kind of brought us closer than ever,
Yeah.
really. And yeah, I couldn't really ask for a better brother now.
Right. That's heavy.
Yeah. What made it even heavier was as we were walking around to psychotherapy, Connor, who's 27 now, was telling me how just amazing it was that we'd gotten together, and how sad he'd always been that he'd never got to have these adventures with Will, but that now he could have them with me instead.
Yeah.
And then, you know, he fell, and I was thinking, oh fuck, I've just lost another one. You know, like, yeah.
Bollocks.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I got 3 left if you're gone, Connor.
He's next.
Yeah. Next on the tick list.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh well, that's so obviously the outcome was utterly different from that.
He made a full recovery, and he's still one of the cleverest people I know.
Yeah.
Fiercely intelligent.
Yeah. What happened? How did the fall take place?
Don't really know. Think he might have just tied in wrong, but in a very unobvious way. It's hard to tell, really. He did have a very old harness,
Right.
which I didn't know at the time. But it's nobody's fault. It just, you know, if it was him that tied in wrong, then I should have checked it better. Or if it wasn't that, if it was something else, then so be it. But, you know, it's happened, and
Yeah.
made a full recovery.
Yeah.
Anyway, does that wrap things up?
Perfect.
Grand. Yeah, well, thanks for having me on.
Oh, that's amazing, Lewis. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, so did I, actually.
I like ones that get philosophical.
Yeah.
Yeah.